How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to Fellowship. It has been a very long time. It has been almost a year since I have played Tariq, so we are going to see just how much I remember about this man. This is going to be my quick start guide for him. So, with that being said, how do you go about playing this hammer-wielding arms warrior slash enhancement shaman? So, he has this little bar. This is his auto attack swing timer. So how this is going to work is as he builds up here, when he hits this window, you're going to want to queue up your heavy strike. This is heroic strike from World of Warcraft Classic. It works the exact same. It goes on your next auto attack basically. So they quite literally ripped Classic Warrior, which is absolutely beautiful. Big fan. So you want to make sure you press your heavy strike during that window and you don't fuck it up. If you queue up the heavy strike, then it will go off immediately once the auto attack timer ends. So the goal is to try and fit as many abilities in as possible while you try and clip that little window there. Now you'll see that I immediately had one of my attacks dodge. Now that's because Wild Swing here, his AoE cleave, has a chance to miss. Enemies have a chance to dodge Wild Swing. Now, Wild Swing is also an AoE cleave, which will hit a lot of targets. But the reason this is actually a good thing is that if it misses, it will proc Overpower. Well, in this case, Facebreaker. But Overpower for you World of Warcraft players. So, basically what this is it's an instant attack that does a shit ton of damage and generates fury relative to the damage dealt. Now, this only hits one singular target, so you do want to be careful about using it on AoE. But that's where his Hammer Storm comes in handy. Oh my god, it's so nice to be able to fucking spin to win again. Oh, it's been so long. It's been years. Ugh. Okay, so with all of that being said, how do you combine it together? So, your goal is to play the swing timer minigame. Use your wild swing during the window, and then when you get to the end, queue up the heavy strike. So we're getting to the end right here, and then we get our proc. Try and get as much as possible. Keep in mind, whenever I queue something and then use another ability, it will unqueue it, as you can see there, right? So the goal is to get as many things in the burst window as humanly possible before you get to the end here, right? You'll see there, I also use Skull Crusher, which is his big fury spender for single target, and it resets the swing bar here. So what you want to do is actually dump the Skull Crusher at the bottom of the bar. So if we're on single target, for example, you want to fill with your Wild Swing, get to the end here, drop this, Wild Swing, Wild Swing, Wild Swing, fill, try and play for a dodge proc, there's a dodge, and then there's a miss, proc. So now in this case, we're going to have a window here to use this, because we're on the bottom of the bar, to get as much value as humanly possible. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't make sense, just look at my bar down here and kind of rewatch. Alternatively, I'll do it one more time for you. So, like I said, when you're filling the bar through here, this is your time to use Wild Swing on single target. When you get to this point, this is where you want to queue up your Heavy Strike. If you can queue it here or even deeper and get an extra swing, even better. Try and use Facebreaker off cooldown when you get the opportunity. And then use your Skull Crusher when your bar resets after a Heavy Strike to get as much damage as possible. Someone just died in the lobby. Well done, fellas. So, just to show you that one more time, you can maybe get 3, and then you get your Heavy Strike. And then we miss, Heavy Strike, reset, like so. Heavy Strike, or sorry, not Heavy Strike, Wild Swing, Heavy Strike at the end, like so. So, now the fun part, we get to the Hammer Storm. He has access to Leap Smash, which will leap in and generate a bunch of fury. Can be used on global cooldown. This is your pack-wide opener. Launch in with this, and then you want to pop Thunder Call. This will enhance your abilities for 20 seconds. This is a big fuck-off cooldown. He does have others, but this is the first one you're going to get access to. And that will enable Chain Lightning, which is only castable while Thunder Call is active, and will generate fury relative to the damage dealt. So the higher and harder you hit, the more fury you get to spend and fuck around with. Ah, shit. That's my alarm to buy the game, if you heard that. Ah, well, happens. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leap in, we're going to pop Thunder Call, we're going to pop our Chain Lightning, and then we spin like a psychopath. This has an initial Fury cost of 26 and an additional 8 Fury for every 0.7 seconds spent until you have spent a maximum of 50 Fury per use. I'm going to try and make a Hammer Storm build immediately. That's my first goal with this guy, is to make a psychopathic spin to win character. So, we're going to dive in. We're going to pop my active. We're going to pop our Chain Lightning, and we're going to spin. Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. Now we do somewhat of the same combo, trying to weave the heavy strike at the end. Try and still get it while we can, and then we spin again. And you'll see while I spin with the active Thunder Call, it brings down lightning strikes on everything. So you'll see that Hammer Storm causes lightning to strike enemies as you spin, shocking enemies for an additional 400 lightning damage each time they're hit. And if you use Skull Crusher, the exact same thing will happen, which will do a singular Thunderbolt that deals a shit ton of damage. So in this case, you can do the exact same thing on AoE, but pop your on single target rather, but pop your Thunder Call and get even more damage. So in this case, for example, if we pop this, you kind of want to line it up so that you use the dunk at the right time before you pop the cooldown, right? Because in this case, I don't have enough Fury. So it's kind of a little underwhelming to use your Skull Crusher. So try and pop that like as you have a full Fury bar, like get to a full Rage bar and then use it. Would generally be my best recommendation. But if you're just starting off, you can also use it to open a pack and use your Chain Lightning to get as much Rage as humanly possible, which will then make it so you can absolutely blow everything up with Hammer Storm and just turbo pump. So my guy is going to be about doing the most damage humanly possible, because the more damage you do, the more rage you generate, which is why he might feel a little underwhelming when you first start out. But don't worry too much, he does scale immeasurably with gear. But in this case, you can do something like this. And just spin on everything. And then we generate Fury, and then we spin again, and we don't have enough Fury anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, he is a lot of fun. I didn't really get the chance to play like as much of him as I wanted to during the next fest when he was actually available, because he wasn't in the previous like open beta. So I'm gonna play an unhealthy amount of him too. He's probably gonna be my secondary, since I played a shit ton of Rhyme in open beta. So I'm going to do a lot of coverage on him as well, because I want to spin on things. For stat allocation, I think I would probably go crit, most likely, because he wants to do as much damage as possible to get more Fury from it as a result. So more crits, higher damage, more Fury, more spins, more stonks. Alternatively, you could maybe go Haste to get more cooldown reduction on like Thunder Call and Leap Slam and what have you. Depending if the Haste actually works for him, I don't particularly know if it does. But otherwise, yeah, I think just like crit verse probably. Just stack as much flat damage as possible and just bonk the ever-loving shit out of everything. Because if you get a big crit with Skull Crusher and the Lightning Strike crits as well, oh, stuff is going to melt. I'll whip up some builds for you as I get deeper into the game, but that is going to be my quick start guide for Tariq. Now go out there and spin to win, my friends.